Good morning to all. This is Anil Kumar Reddy. In this video, we are going to start third unit. Okay, so we are going to start third unit. Third unit is about types of signals, Laplace transforms. Okay, and we'll see what were the contents of third unit. So let us start. So third unit is about types of signals. So from now, so in previous two units, we have learned about the basics of electrical circuits in first unit, synthesis and two-port networks in second unit. But now we are going to look into the types of signals. So signals means, so also okay, let me tell you the other contents of this chapter. So Laplace transforms. Next, we are going to look into transient response of RC circuit, RLC circuit, and frequency response of RLC circuit. Okay, so these are the main topics of this unit. So first we will be looking into types of signals. So before going to know what are the types of signals, let us look into what is a signal first. So signal is a physical quantity that has some useful meaning, which means if I am talking something to you, it is a signal. It's a sound signal, acoustic. We can call it acoustic signal, which has some meaning, which means you are understanding something. That is called a signal. But sometimes if if I speak in a different language, you may not understand. That is called a noise. Okay. But the thing I'm explaining you and you are getting it, so that is called a signal. So it's a physical quantity that has some useful meaning is known as signal. And a physical quantity that has no meaning is known as noise. Okay. So we frequently we use the word called noise. Noise means it is also a physical quantity of waveform, but it has no meaning. Okay. So let us classify the types of signals we have. So basically, you can classify signals into two types. Continuous signal. Okay, continuous signals means if you draw a graph with respect to time, then it must be continuous. There is no discontinuity of the signal within the time boundary. Okay, it must be continuous, which means at any point of time, if you take that signal will have some value. Value means amplitude. Okay, and there is other type of signal that is discrete signal. Discrete signal means it's a discontinuous signal, which means it is not a continuous with respect to time. It is discrete or discontinuous with respect to time, but at specific points of time it has some value. Okay, so that is called discrete signal. So continuous signal is also known as analog signal. For example, sine wave is an example of continuous signal, and the digital signal is an example of discrete signal. Okay, so now we will be looking into the basic functions. We call these signals as signal or function, whatever it is, we mean the same. So unit step function is known as a test signal. These are called as test signals. Among test signals, we are going to look into unit step function first, unit step signal or unit step function. As you can see on the screen, that is the mathematical expression. So unit step function is always represented by u of t, and that will be equal to 1 when t greater than 1, which means, as you can see on the screen, okay, so here when the time is 0, the value of the unit step is 1, and at t less than 0, which means in this area you cannot find any value for u of t. So that is known as unit step signal, and this is the mathematical expression for unit step signal, and this is the graphical expression for unit step signal. And now we will be looking into other type of signal. okay, or function, whatever it is. So unit impulse function. Unit impulse function means, so this is the mathematical expression for unit impulse. Okay, so always impulse functions are denoted by a delta of t, denoted by delta of t. Okay, and its value is 1 when t is equal to 0, and other than t equal to 0, its value is 0. Okay, so let me show you the graphical representation of unit step function, sorry, unit impulse function. So this is the mathematical expression on the top, and at the bottom you're having graphical. So this is the graphical expression or graphical representation of unit impulse function. So unit impulse function means at a t equal to 0, its value is 1, but other than t is equal to 0, its value is 0. So here 1 is the area of the curve. 1 is the area of the curve that you have to understand, and that area of the curve is equal to 1. So we call it as unit impulse function. If the area of the impulse or unit area of the curve is not equal to 1 in impulse function, then we call it as impulse function. But if it is equal to 1, we call it as unit impulse function. Okay. Now let us look into ramp signal. Ramp signal means, so this is the mathematical expression as you can see on the screen. So this is the mathematical expression R of t. It is denoted by R of t, and is equal to t when t greater than 0 and equal to 0 when t less than 0, which means it has no value before origin and it has some value after the origin. So this is the graphical representation of a ramp signal. It keep on increasing linearly. So this is the graphical representation of a ramp signal. Okay. So now we'll be looking into exponential signal. Exponential signal means, so uh, okay, let me give you an example. Suppose if a person has a coronavirus, okay, let us take a virus. It is more obvious or understandable for you if I say like that. So if one person has coronavirus and if he infects the other person, now the person is becoming two persons. Next, these two people will infect four, and four will become eight. Eight will become 16. 16 will become 32. So the graph is keep on increasing with respect to time. So that increment in time, sorry, increment in people is known as exponential curve. Okay, so and it is expressed. Okay, it is x of t or exponential curve is expressed with x of t or f of t, whatever it is, and you will have an operator called e. E is the representation of exponential function. So suppose, okay, let me tell you. Suppose if e power 0, which means he is not infecting anyone, is equal to 1 because e power 0. Suppose if a person is having coronavirus, he is not going to infect to anyone, which means he is not infecting e power 0, and the number of infected persons with respect to time will be 1. E power 0 is 1. So now we will try to take three cases. So e power alpha, let us take e power alpha. When alpha is equal to 0, then the value of x of t will be 1. So exponential value will be 1. Okay. So in case 2, if you take case 2, if alpha less than 0, which means the value of alpha is less than 0, which means minus 1, minus 2, and so on up to minus infinity. For those values, it is a decaying exponential signal. Decaying means it is decreasing its value. So at previously it has some value, but as time keep on changing, its value is gradually reducing, and at one point of time it will reach 0. So that kind of exponential decaying means rapid decaying is known as exponentially decaying signals. Exponentially decaying signals, okay, or functions. So now when alpha is equal to greater than 0. When alpha is greater than 0, what will happen? That will become an exponentially increasing function or rising exponential. We call it as rising exponential. Its value is gradually or exponentially rising to some value. That is known as exponentially increasing value. Okay. So if alpha is less than 1, then so e power alpha t will become exponentially decaying. If alpha is greater than 0, if alpha is greater than 0, which means for positive values of alpha, the exponential function will be increasing. For negative values of alpha, the exponential function will be decreasing. Okay. Now we will look into the other type of signal, that is sinusoidal signal. So this is the most familiar signal we have. Okay, so sinusoidal signal, it is represented. So this is the mathematical representation, a sine omega naught t plus or minus pi, where a is the amplitude, sine is its property, omega naught is the frequency, and plus or minus pi. Pi is the phase angle. Pi is called phase angle. So similarly, similar to sine, we have cos also. We can express the only difference between sine and cos is phase difference. It is 90 degrees. If you turn sine into, if you want to turn a sine wave into a cos wave, cosine wave, just you have to shift the phase value, then it will become a cosine function. Anyways, so this is the sinusoidal signal, as you know it already. Now we will be looking into stepped or shifted unit step function. So at starting, what we have seen is a unit step function which is starting at 0. Before 0, its value is 0, but after 0, its value is 1. That is called unit step function. But now we are looking into shifted unit step function. Shifted unit step function means instead of starting at 0, it is starting at some value a. So which means instead of starting at 0, it is delayed by some time. So you call it as a shifted or delayed unit step function. Okay. So f of t is equal to 0. F of t is equal to 0 when t is less than a. A is the value of time. Okay. So before a, its value is 0. After a, its value will be unit. Okay, which means 1. So it is represented mathematically like this. F of t is equal to u of t minus a. T minus a means t is the time and a is the delayed time. Suppose if the function is starting before 0, you can write it as f of t u of t plus a. Okay, instead of minus a, you have to write plus a if the function is starting before 0, and if it is starting after 0, you can call it as a u of t minus a. So that is the mathematical representation and graphical representation of unit step function. So now let us look into Laplace transforms. So Laplace transform, so this Laplace transform is a very important and very you know very important tool to find the solutions of differential equations. So to find the solution of differential equations of higher order, which means second order, third order, is very difficult for us to solve, because we have to calculate particular integral, we have to calculate uh, general solution, like that if we solve in time domain. But if we use Laplace transform for a time domain function, then that function will be changed into S domain function. And also, if you are solving a differential equation, that differential equation will be converted into algebraic equation, which is easy for us to solve. Algebraic equation means, for example, if you take a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c. So ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation. You know how to calculate roots directly. So that is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So that is how you can calculate for an algebraic equation. But for differential equation, if you want to solve that directly in time domain, it is not an easy task. You have to find particular integrals, general solutions. Okay. So there are so many complexities, and you have to apply limits also. So if you use Laplace transform, that complexity will be reduced to some extent, so that you will be able to solve at least second order and first order differential equations easily. Okay, so that is the purpose of a Laplace transform. And the Laplace transform, if you want to define a Laplace transform, it is a technique used for solving differential equations. So using Laplace transform, all the time domain functions will be converted into S domain functions. Suppose if you are converting some d square x by dt square, that will be converted into algebraic form. Algebraic form means just like polynomials. Okay, so if you want to use Laplace transform, what we will do is, first we will try to take the time domain equation, then we will apply Laplace transform. We will solve the equations in algebraic form. We will find the roots. After finding the roots, we are going to convert them again into the time domain by using inverse Laplace transform. Okay, so now let me tell you one thing. F of t is the function of time. F of t is the function of time. Okay, f of t is a function of time. After applying Laplace transform, you have to represent it with a capital F of s. You cannot represent it with the time domain. You have to change the domain into S domain. So this is the mathematical definition of a Laplace transform. So f of s is equal to integral 0 to infinity f of t e power minus st dt. So it is basically an integration within the limits. Okay. So this is called one-sided Laplace transform because we are taking the limits from 0 to infinity. In most of the engineering problems, we are going to solve using only one-sided Laplace transform. But you in mathematics you may have two-sided Laplace transform. Two-sided means limits are from minus infinity to infinity. Remaining definition is same, but only limits are changing. From 0 to infinity, it is called as one-sided Laplace transform, and minus infinity to infinity you call it as two-sided Laplace transform. So whatever function, if you want to find Laplace transform of a unit step function, here in this definition you have to replace f of t with u of t. Remaining integration and applying limits is normal mathematical procedure. If you follow that procedure, then you can find Laplace transform of any function. Okay, so as we are not looking into mathematical subject, what I'm going to do is we are going to memorize some results based on mathematical results. Okay, so mathematical results of Laplace transform are remembered, and we are going to apply those results whenever required. Okay, we are not going to solve any problem on Laplace transform. Of course, I am going to tell you one or two problems. Okay, that's enough for you. So now let us look into the properties of Laplace transform. So properties of Laplace transform are, there are so many properties. Among those properties, most useful properties are these properties, as you can see on the screen: linearity property, frequency property. Okay, frequency property means if a function is presided by e power st, okay, f of t is presided by e power st, then you have to write Laplace transform like this: f of s minus s naught, where s naught is the value of exponential. So in that way, you can find all these properties. Okay, and we are going to use them whenever we require them. Okay, so these are the, so linearity property, frequency shifting property, nth derivative property, integrative property. Okay, multiplication by time. Okay, and then complex shift property, time reversal property, and time scaling property. So these are the basic properties of a Laplace transform. Let me explain you just one example so that you can understand. For example, if you take a time scaling property, so instead of f of t, we are having f of t by a. Then what we have to write in a Laplace transform means we have to write a into f of as. Like that you have to write. Okay. Next, and all these properties can be proved using mathematical procedures, but we are not going to look into any of these procedures. But for now, just remember all the results of each mathematical expression for the Laplace transform properties. Okay, now we will be looking into some important functions so that you can memorize them. If you can memorize them, you can solve problems whenever asked. Okay. So first, I will be telling you Laplace transform of impulse function. So as I told you already, impulse function is denoted by delta of t. So Laplace transform, this is the operator used for Laplace transform, or you can say symbol for Laplace transform. So after applying Laplace transform to an impulse function, that value will be equal to 1. Next, we will be looking into unit step function. As you can see, unit step function is denoted by u of t. So Laplace transform of u of t is equal to 1 by s. So next we will be looking into the other function, Laplace transform of t. T means here you have to understand t power n like that, 1 by s square. So t power n is n factorial by s power n plus 1. And the e power minus Laplace transform of e power alpha t or e power a t is equal to 1 by s plus a. E power minus alpha t is 1 by s minus a. Okay. So all these functions are very basic functions and so very important functions also. Try to remember these functions. Okay, try to write 2 to 3 times in a paper, then you can memorize them easily. So these are the basic functions and their Laplace transforms. If you can remember all these functions, you can solve problems very easily. Okay. So for example, let us find Laplace transform of this function f of s is equal to 1 by s into s plus 1. So So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to take 1 by s into s plus 1, then I'm going to make into partial fractions. So this is called partial fraction. We are expressing multiplication in terms of addition. Here you have s into s plus 1, but here you have addition. So this multiplication is changed into addition or subtraction, whatever it is. So we call it as partial fractions. So after finding partial fractions, what we are doing here is we are going to apply inverse Laplace transform. So the given question is in S domain. So how to, now you have to apply inverse Laplace transform. Inverse Laplace transform means nothing but it is just a reverse process of Laplace transform. So inverse Laplace of f of s means inverse Laplace of 1 by s first. 1 by s is equal to L inverse of 1 by s minus L inverse of 1 by s plus 1. This is the linearity property as I told you earlier. So this is the linearity property of Laplace transform. If the Laplace transform doesn't have that linearity property, you cannot solve this problem. So because of linearity property of Laplace transform, now you are able to solve this problem. So L inverse of 1 by s will be 1 because Laplace transform of 1 is 1 by s. So inverse is L inverse of 1 by s will be 1. So how I am writing these means I am just memorizing the important functions. What you have to do is, in order to memorize them, all the properties of Laplace transform that I gave you in this session, also all the important functions of Laplace transform, you must write in a paper for 2 to 3 times. Then you can remember them very easily. Once you can remember all the Laplace transform of each function, then you can easily write inverse Laplace transform. I think I don't have to tell you all these techniques because you have already learned in your mathematics. Okay. So L inverse of 1 by s plus 1 is e power minus t. L inverse of 1 by s is 1. So this is the final answer for the question. So, so this is how you have to solve all the problems using Laplace transforms definition, or you can use properties of Laplace transform and the results of basic functions of Laplace transform. Okay, so now we will be looking into another problem. So for this problem you have to find inverse Laplace transform. So the given function is f of s is equal to 6s square plus 10s plus 2 by s cube plus 3s square plus 2s. So for this function, first you have to write partial fractions. So in order to make partial fractions, first you need to find the roots. Okay, roots of the denominator. First you find the roots of denominator. So what we have done is, here is we found the roots of denominator. Here you can see s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 are the roots of denominator. Once you got all the roots of denominator, then what you have to do is you have to make it into partial fractions. So the given function, so function after writing all the roots of denominator, you have to split into addition of arbitrary constants or addition of terms. So here for s term you have written k1 by s, and for s plus 1 you have written k2 by s plus 2, and for s plus 2 you have written k3 by s plus 2. So if you can find k1, k2, k3 values, you can always express the f of s, given f of s function, which is in multiplication with the addition. So the given function is in multiplication, you have to convert them into addition using partial fractions. So now what you have to do is, just you take an LCM for this side, take LCM for this side. That's what we have done here. We have taken LCM. Okay. So after taking LCM, so what we have done is we have separated, or what we can say, we have taken K1 as common here. So here K2 and here K3 on right hand side, and which means we have cross multiplied them. We have, after taking LCM, we have cross multiplied them. So on right hand side you have 6s square plus 10s plus 2. Now you take s square as common, then you can have k1 plus k2 plus k3 as the coefficient of s square, 3k1 plus 2k2 plus k3 into s, which means 3k1 plus 2k2 plus k3 as the coefficient of s, and the constant term is 2k1 equal to 6s square plus 10s plus 2. Now what you have to do is, just you have to compare right hand side and the left hand side. So here 6 is equal to k1 plus k2 plus k3, that you have to write, and 10 is equal to 3k1 plus 2k2 plus k3, and 2 is equal to, or 2k1 is equal to 2, you can write. Therefore you can find k1 value as 1 from the given equation. Next, substitute this k1 value for this value, which means 1 plus k2 plus k3 equal to 6. Similarly 3 plus 2k2 plus k3 equal to 10. So if you can solve this equation and this equation using calculators, because there are only two variables k2 and k3, because you know already what is k1. If you can solve, you can find k2 value and as well as k3 value. Okay, once you got all the values of k1, k2 and k3, which means the values of arbitrary constants, now you have to substitute in place of k1, k2 and k3. So the given function f of s, so this is f of s, can be expressed like this. Okay, it is the addition of three terms. Okay, so for each term, what you have to do is you have to apply inverse Laplace transform. So inverse Laplace transform of f of s is equal to L inverse of 1 by s plus L inverse of 2 by s plus 1 plus L inverse of 3 by s plus 2. Okay, so now what you have to do is, you just have to apply L inverse for 1 by s. I already told you L inverse of 1 by s is 1. Next 2 is the constant term, so you have to write 2 on outside. L inverse of 1 by s plus 1 is e power minus t. Also 3 is a constant term. Okay, k3 equal to 3. So 3 is a constant term. So 3 into L inverse of 1 by s plus 2 means 1 by, sorry, 3 into e power minus 2t. S plus at means we are getting e power minus at. Okay, so this is how you have to apply Laplace transform for each method. Okay, so for any problem, these are the procedures you have to follow. So once you can find these methods, Okay, you can easily solve any problem for Laplace transform, or you can find solution for any time domain differential equation. Okay, thank you.